What is up, everybody? It is time once again for another Ryan Cross Declassified. This time, my guest with me today is the other half of my better half in the writer's room, one David the Dragon Lees. How we doing, buddy?
Oh, we're doing great. You know, I was excited to see your last episode of this, and I'm excited to be the next guest on it.
All right, cool. Now, I do want to give some context to the folks, so as I shrink this text, I want to talk about our first text, which is always funny to talk about. Now, for those who don't know...
Do we have to?
Yes, we have to, because it is funny and I will never let it down. So as I move this to the lower quarter here, I want to bring up one little snippet I think is absolutely hilarious. But do you want to set this up, or should I?
You know what? This is all you, man. This is all you, because it's my embarrassment.
No, I mean, had we known what we know today, I don't think it would have been as big of a deal, but it's still funny.
I still would have done it. But okay, so I'll set it up.
No regrets. So, good start. No regrets whatsoever. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, set it up. Go ahead.
So me and Travis, we both play in a fan trivia league on Jack Ball Trivia. Check us out there. And we're playing a tournament match in the comics division. And we're in the chat with the guy running the match, and just us trying to get our schedules sorted out. And just making small talk, and it's a comic thing. So Travis asked me the question, hey Dave, are you more of a Marvel or a DC guy?
Or whatever is good. Or whatever's good.
Yeah. And how do I respond, Travis?
Hold on. I got this picture right here. I just gotta fix it because it came way too big. That's what she said. For this. So give me like 2 seconds here to shrink this just a touch, because we have no pre-planning whatsoever. The only pre-planning I had was the fact that, well, you know, I'm going to get this, not to embarrass you, but just kind of show what kind of thing it is. Because I will give you credit. You did apologize. Which is funny. Because that's not something I would have done. Okay, so I asked you, I said, Dave, 2 questions. 1, are you a Marvel guy, DC guy, or whatever's good? Your first response was another question. I was like, why on earth would I tell you that before a match? It's like, what's your second question? I took a second. I was like, I literally said, good point. Never mind, it involves the first. LOL. I was just trying to be nice. My bad. I was like, I thought Canadians were nice. Goddamn. I said,
we are, but we like to win.
No. I think that's just you, my friend. I think that's just you. I said
Well, War of 1812.
Right. But it's even funnier though, because I said I forgot the context of this chat for a minute. Sorry. You literally go. I don't know what you. I think he meant to say no man, but it ended up coming out Bowman. It's a great question. You know, and I have it up here, so it's like, it's a great question. There's nothing I like more than talking about this stuff. I just want to after the match, but I'm way too competitive. You're also missing an O and 2, which is really funny.
I'm also dyslexic, so.
No, it's fine. And I think that's where I cut it off at, which is even the funniest thing. Because I was like, hey, dude, this is like, why the... I could almost see you censoring yourself. Like, why on earth would I tell you? Which I think, again, is very, very funny. But from there, I told Drew about this grand scheme I had that I came up with a few months ago at that point. About I think I put it, my own Superman continuity. My own Superman, whatever idea. Kind of my own spin on it, if you will. And you're like, oh, this is really cool. I was like, sweet. And then we started talking about my movie ideas, and we just kind of spun out into this writer's room idea that I got, and then we just started taking off from there. And I was like, this is awesome. This dude's not a jackass. This is great. But from there, it just became a fun thing. It's like we mainly talk comics and some other personal stuff, which I'm not going to get into if you don't want to, which is always fun. I do remember, though, one conversation. I don't have a picture of it because I'm not going to bring it up because it's, again, not my business to bring up. But we were talking about something that you had done, I don't know how long ago. But it was funny because you said, oh, it doesn't, I mean, that was easy too. You just got to find, the right partner. And now saying that out of context, me knowing the context, it sounds fine, but, saying it out of context can be taken 1,000 different ways.
When I said that finding a fiance and getting married is easy.
Yeah, that. And I know. No, I will say this: you did not say it was easy. You just said that it was an easy thing. It was easier to propose than you think. You just got to find the right person, find the right partner. That's what you said.
Yeah.
But it was funny because like a couple seconds later, I was like, all right, that's really nice. That's really sweet. I got one question for you. You go, what's up? I said, you want some cheese to go with that corn, you fucking cornball? You're like, actually, yes, please. I said, too bad. We're all out. You go, darn. So.
I wanted to know, was it like a Gouda? Maybe a provolone?
You are talking my language, my friend. You are talking my language. Anyway, but but yeah, it's just stuff like this we just kind of go back and forth with. But we were talking about this a bit before we started recording. My first comic, I mean, we were talking about our first comics and such, and you said your first comic was the first issue of the Green Lantern Corps, Sinestro Corps War, right?
Yeah.
Well, I showed you what mine was over the thing, and I'm gonna bring it up here because it's a friggin' great comic. Because it's like I grew up watching the cartoons, but there is a considerable difference between watching the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons, watching the Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, and so on. That we had. And then getting your first comic and it being this. Now, for those who can't see it, because it's uber small, and the fact that I don't have it on right now, hang on, let me go back and do this, because I have so many friggin' images here that I want to go back to for another episode, but they're just so much fun. But my first comic was this, as I pulled up here again. It was the first issue of The Amazing Spider-Man when it was 12 cents. It was it says it on here right now. Feature-length Spider-Man thrillers. I was like, ooh, Spider-Man. And this is when he had those friggin' not wing guards, like web wings underneath his arms, which I was like, that's kind of counterintuitive, but alright. And I saw it in Homecoming, I'm like, that's so awesome! So, I can't make up my mind for shit. But yeah, like, the Chameleon thing was cool, the Fantastic Four bit of it was awesome, it flowed, and I was just like, this is awesome to read, and I was like, I'm kind of mad I don't have it anymore, because, I bought this thing from the Dollar Tree, or my local dollar store at the time, when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And it was mint, it had that old, newspaper kind of, cover to it, which was nice, but I read that thing so much it got torn to shreds, and I had all these other comics that I never read, but that was the one I always went to. That was my go-to read for anything. I could just be sitting in my room one day. I've read this thing 1,000 times. I'll reread it and reread it and reread it, and it fell apart. And the other one I got was with a Captain America action figure. It was like a proverbial retelling of Captain America's origins, but it was like it left on a cliffhanger, like, will Bucky survive? I was like, I want to find the other book, but I know it's bullshit because it's, Captain America and a fucking comic book figure, so, But it was fun, and I think I still have that figure to this day. Somewhere. I don't know whether that's sad or just funny, but, Yeah. So, getting back on the comic book thing, what was the first thing you remember as your first comic book, maybe introduction, as it were? Like, what do you remember, remember watching as a kid?
My first introduction to comics came from my dad, who was a huge comic book reader growing up, and I want to point out, Sinestro Cold War was the first one I ever bought. It was not the first one I ever read.
Did
My
I say
dad had
did,
all like these long boxes
did I say that was the first one you ever
filled
read?
with comic books. No, I just want to make it clear for
Okay.
clear for everyone,
Okay.
so I can maintain my nerd cred.
Yeah,
But
I was about
my dad
to
just had.
Yeah, I was about to ask you for your nerd card after this. I'm sorry. It's like, who needs a man
My
card? I
dad
got
had,
a
like-
nerd card. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I gotta get those made now.
Well, it's just full of cards.
Okay, sorry. Continue. My bad.
So, yeah, when I was first learning to read and stuff, and I was real young, my dad had like all these long boxes filled with comics, and at first I would just pick them up and be like, "Look at this red guy," or "Look at this scary looking dude," and my dad would be like, "David, you can't. These are not playthings. They are collector's items and such." And I was like, but eventually, so I just like looking at the pictures and like he'd hold them up for me,
Yeah.
and stuff. And then I started asking, like, what's that guy's name and stuff like that, and he would make me like read the covers of them. So comics really did like help me learn to read, and I was like, oh, that's Spider-Man. And then the scary guy turned out to be Batman.
Of course, because who else would the scary guy be?
But anyway, the first comic I ever remember reading was an old Superman comic that this actually kind of turned me away from comics, because as a child I was like, that's dumb. Superman got exposed to this new form of kryptonite, and it turned his head into a lion or something like that.
Oh,
I'm trying to remember exactly.
No. If it had like a random effect on him, it was probably red kryptonite back in the golden age, because it always had a random effect on it for like 24 hours. So it may have been like he had a lion's head, he was see-through, whatever it was. That's funny.
Yeah. So then
sorry.
So at that point I was probably like 6 or 7 or something. And my dad had started letting me like hold the comics and read them and stuff, because he had kind of been like, I'm never selling these. Who cares if he messes them up?
Yeah.
And I messed up a fair bit of them, but that comic I remember reading, and I went to my dad and I was like, are all comics like this, but in like a child's way? And he was like, they're all kind of weird like that. And I was like, I'm not reading comics anymore.
Oh.
So I walked away from it for a little bit, but then it was twofold. First, it was the Spider-Man animated show from the 90s that played on like Fox Kids or something like that.
Yeah, it started on Fox
at night.
Kids, yeah. Yeah.
And I'd watch that thing every once in a while. Yeah, I really like this. And then I got just so invested in it, and that really, it drew me back in. And before I knew it, that was everything.
Yeah.
For me, I was watching that. Then I found out that like Batman the Animated Series came to Canada a little bit after the U.S. So I was like, oh my god! And now there's a Batman show. This is amazing.
Although Batman came out first, which is really funny.
Yeah. I actually saw Justice League and Justice League Unlimited before I had ever seen a single episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Really? Whoa.
It was like with like how it got when it came up to Canada and stuff, the way different provinces and such dealt with distribution. It just happened that we got those ones, and then we got Batman where I live. So I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I eventually would find out that Batman came out first. And I was like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, but do you want to hear something that's really crushing though? That's really okay. So I'm babysitting for a friend of my mom's, right? She has this one kid named Kazik. Kazik's huge into superheroes, whatever, plays whatever game, Lego Batman games, whatever. So I show him, I was like, you like Spider-Man, right? He goes, yeah. So I flip on Hulu and I flip on the Spider-Man show that we grew up with. First words out of his mouth were, "This is so old." I'm like, it's not that old.
If it's old, I'm old.
It's like, you can't be that old. I'm only 23. It's like I had a midlife crisis at 22. Like, what the fuck is my life right now?
Quarter life crisis, right?
Yeah, right. It's like I realize I'm like, this generation will never know anything but Jar Jar. This world's not. I'm not. I just turned to all the guys from Futurama. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
But the even when I was watching all those shows and stuff, I still wasn't back into reading comics because I was like, oh, comics, those are for babies. The TV shows, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I played Marvel's Ultimate Alliance on Xbox.
Oh, we are going to talk about that game. We are going to talk about that game.
I was like, you were introduced to so many concepts.
Right?
And like, who is Arcade? Who is the Crimson Dynamo? What's going on? I only know Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. Who's this? What is space? What is a Skrull? What's going on?
Who the is Galactus?
Galactus I did know, because that was...
Okay.
I always liked him because he had a big head. And I was always like, he looks dumb. But then my dad got me a mug that looked like Galactus' head. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
You know they got those as a beer opener down here, which is even funnier.
We have all that stuff up here, too. We just... all right. We got beer opener Galactus.
I didn't know. I just know it from my local comic shop. I didn't know if all comic shops sold them or not. So, bite me.
We got Batman late. We get everything else pretty much at the same time.
Okay, fair enough.
This Batman was still...
just not the TV show.
But
you didn't get those
Alliance,
in the right order.
Yeah. Ultimate Alliance, when I played it, I went to my dad, and at that point, I don't even remember what year it came out, but I probably didn't play it until I was like 12 or 13 or 14 or whatever.
Let me check.
And I went to my dad, and I was like, Dad, do you still have all those comics? And he was like, oh, yeah, of course. They're just downstairs. And I just remember it was March break, and I just started reading and reading and reading. And getting really pissed off at my dad when he was like missing an issue, because I was like, "What happened, Dad? What happened? It's like the planet. I need to know these things."
Nice, dude.
Yeah, and you know what? And then that year, me and some friends, we took or maybe it was a year or two later, took a trip out west or out east, and there was a comic book shop there. Walked in, and they were selling a bunch of stuff because they were going out of business, because unfortunately a lot of comic book shops do.
Yeah.
And picked up Sinestro Corps War. It was the first issue and stuff, and I was like, exciting. And I bought a Red Lantern ring because I thought it looked cool. Nice. I think I still have that Red Lantern ring around here somewhere, but yeah.
Nice. Okay, so to answer
that long tangent.
No, it's fine, dude. Gave me time to look up when friggin' Ultimate Alliance, the first Ultimate Alliance came out, and the reviews I got for it here are like October 25th, 2006. So it's like that's going deep. But yeah,
So I guess that was like 11, 12.
Yeah, shite, dude, shite. You feeling old yet?
No.
Wait till you hit 30, unless you already did, in which case, good luck.
Well, you can do some math.
Well, I don't know. I don't know your life like that, dude. What do you want from me? But yeah, dude, it's like I had a whole like briefcase full of like Fantastic Four books that I never read. I had a whole bunch of I had a stack of books I never read. But I remember the first issue of comics that I bought personally. Not first stack, but like the first comic book I ever bought personally was The Adventures of Superman 500, which was not the death of Superman, but it was like the aftermath of the death of Superman. It's like Superman was like in the afterlife. He was ready to go to like air quotes Krypton or whatever it was. He'd be with his ancestors. Apparently, he was just going off to hell, but his dad saved him. I was like, "What the fuck is this book?" You know, I had no idea who one of the guys was. I think his name was like Gangbuster or something. But I had no idea who he was. He was drinking like crazy. I was like, okay, so this is random. But it came in like this white sleeve with a Superman symbol on it. It had like, but also had a sneak peek of the other 4 Supermen, like Cyborg Superman, Eradicator, Steel, and Superboy. Oh my gosh! And from that point, I became a Superboy fan, the Connor Kent Superboy fan, because I was like,
with the fade,
huh?
With the fade cut and the jean jacket.
Yep.
Who wouldn't love that?
I was like, dude, that is rad. I'm like, that's the dude right there. He got his ass kicked. I was like, well, damn. I was like, well, there goes that. So, you know. But, that was like one of the first ones I bought. But after that, I didn't buy paperback a lot. I kind of kept with whatever was free on like Comixology for the longest time because that's all I could afford. You know, free 99 is all I had. But when I started buying books, Lord Almighty, you've seen the collection I got on Comixology.
Oh man, yeah.
And it is thick. but the few books I wanted to get right off the bat were all 3 Crises, because I knew I wanted to do something with them so bad, especially with Arrowverse coming up. Which is something that I also want to get to, because I find my stance on this is hilarious. On Arrowverse is hilarious.
I'd love to hear it.
Oh yeah, no.
I've been a big fan of it since 2011.
No. That's the funny part. That's the funny part. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. But it's like, with Arrow now doing Crisis on Infinite Earths this coming season for their final season, I'm like, oh my god, you know, because I saw Elseworlds, I'm like, oh, this is good, and I saw Elseworlds in a bubble, because I was like, to be honest with you, I have no TV right now, I have no way of watching TV, honestly, you know, even the free stuff, I'm like, I don't want to do that, that's kind of like stealing. It doesn't sit well with me. I'm afraid Batman's going to jump through my window and go, you shouldn't pirate things. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. You know.
To be fair, if I'm going to meet Batman, I'm going to pirate the shit out of everything.
No. Just worse yet, Oracle just hacks your computer and just blows it up. Like, oh, damn.
To be fair, that's a cool story to tell my IT guy.
It's like, yeah, it's better than taking to your IT guy and going, why's your laptop full of bullet holes? My coffee shop's in a bad neighborhood. You know.
Arrow, season 1.
Hey! You got that reference. Yeah, but, way to go, Cap. Oh, boy. But, yeah, it's just, that's just awesome. And I remember reading those, and I was like, yo, this is great stuff. I remember trying to read those, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on, because I remember reading the paperback of Crisis on Infinite Earths, because everyone's like, oh, this is a good book, this is a good book, this is a good book. I'm like, it's a retcon, but alright. It's a reboot, but alright. And I didn't understand the gravity of it until I read the whole thing while I was at work one day. And I finished it, and I was like, holy shit. That was deep. Because it was just, oh my gosh. And then Infinite Crisis to follow that up, oh my gosh. I couldn't even follow Final Crisis after a while, because I was like, okay. I got like to a point, and I was like, I'm done.
Final Crisis.
Yeah.
Has fiction ghosts that are going to come out of the comic book and eat us, the reader.
Yeah, kind of like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. It's like, yeah, when I get done hacking these up, you're next. I'm like, okay, I don't want to read Deadpool. For no joke, those books, that was the first Deadpool book I read. It scared the crap out of me. I'm like, I'm not touching Deadpool now. I don't want this Deadpool. Then I read Deadpool Kills Deadpool, and I'm like, okay, this is good. This is fine. I feel better now. You know?
Yeah.
Man, but that Killigy was just great. Where was I going with this? Anyway. But, so yeah, let's talk about the Arrowverse, because I grew up on Smallville, bruh. I grew up on Smallville.
Somebody
save me, Duncan. You know, But I loved the moments that they timed that theme song so well. It's like friggin' Clark and Lois were on a friggin' audition for a news anchor position, right? And Clark was only there just because Lois wanted to do it, and Lois was like, whatever. But it was so funny. It's like, oh, no. It's like, the audition's over. You guys got it. It's like, what? They love your chemistry. Lois just looks over at Clark. Clark has this look like, oh, crap. And then the theme song kicks in. Somebody save! I'm like, yo. That timing is too perfect. I wish I could find that clip. Yeah. But I was thinking about this today, speaking of Smallville. I love how the Smallville show basically comes down to family values, if you think about it. Because in the first few seasons, you see the Kent family values, so the blue collar, kind of whatever. And then you see the other side of the coin, the white collar, again, the complete other side of the spectrum. I'm not saying all white collar people like this are bad, but, Given our president, I'm not going to say they aren't.
Yours? Let's say yours. I'm Canadian. I didn't vote for him.
I didn't vote, period. So, because I knew I'm not voting for either one of these schmucks. So I'm like, I'm done. And I meant ours in the country of the United States. I didn't mean ours as in you and mine. Yours and mine. I know you got a prime minister, you lucky fuck. But any room up there in Canada for one more guy who doesn't want to be in the country anymore? Any room up there?
We got plenty of room. I'm sure we can stick you with the mooses and and the igloos.
Oh, you're gonna do that to your boy? Okay. Can't give me central heating up there in Canada. No, okay. Great, just great.
Dude, you don't want central heating. It's like 30 degrees right now.
30 degrees up there right now?
Yeah.
Never mind, I'll stay in Florida. I will take the heat over the cold. I'm sorry. Anyway, getting back to Smallville. But, jeez, dude. That was even the funnier part, speaking of president. I used the, hyphen POTUS. P-O-T-U-S. You were like, what's POTUS? I was like, right, Canadian. President of the United States. It took me a second to register, because I know this is going to sound really bad or really good or really naive. It's like when I talk to somebody and I know they're a fairly good friend of mine, or in your case, a really good friend of mine, I tend to forget where people are from or what their backgrounds are, So it's like, POTUS, just casual speak. Like 2 seconds later, what's POTUS? Fuck. I just stopped my explanation of this thing going, President of the United States. We good? We're good. Okay, go. And I went on with my pitch. Oh my gosh. But that was just great. But yeah.
Smallville, Arrowverse.
Yeah. Arrowverse, yeah. So when I first saw this thing, I was not impressed. When I first started watching Arrow for the first few episodes, I was like, yeah, I'm not impressed with this show. I don't really like this show at all. I hate it. I borderline hated the show. I was like, this is stupid. I was like, this is, whatever. I'm like, I don't really care for this show at all, And then I forget what episode it was, but one of the episodes. No, I started watching this at my grandma's place on my phone because I had nothing else to do, and everyone's going to sleep at 9 o'clock at night. So I'm like, all right, I got nothing to do. I got a couple hours to kill. I might as well just watch something on Netflix. And I was like, I'll give the show Arrow another shot. I started watching it again. I was like, whoa. Because one of the few lines of the show that hooked me was Tommy. Freaking Tommy Merlin.
Oh, Tommy's great.
I know he was. He was so great. But it was funny because Tommy's one of those best friends you wish you had in your life. For the perfect example of, this one chick wants to, hang out with you. Which one? It's like 3 chicks. It's like, which one is it? The one chick looks like she's from Twilight. What's Twilight? You're so better off not knowing. I'm like, I want a friend like that in my life. I need that friend. If I could have a friend like him and Edna Mode, I think I'd be set for life, honestly. Yeah, that's great. Boy. But yeah. But then I started watching The Flash, and I was like, I didn't know where The Flash came in, because I missed that episode until, like, recently. Because by the time I started this, The Flash and Arrow were on Hulu and on Netflix. So I was playing catch-up while still watching the current episodes. So basically I met in the middle, and I was like, okay, cool. I figured out all this stuff. I was a couple seasons behind, bruh. And I was trying to, like, binge all this as much as possible before I went to sleep. And I was like, dude, this is and this is when we moved down to Florida for the first time. I was like, dude, this show is awesome. I started watching an episode or two a night, you know. I was like, dude. I caught up, and I was like, yo, this show is lit. Let's do this. Let's go. I'm in. You know? And then Tommy died, and I was like, because the first episode, because I think I was, like, watching, like, midway through, like, season 2 or season 3 or something.
Tommy dies at the end of season 1.
I know. I was like, well, where's Tommy? Where's Tommy? He was like, Tommy, no! I was like, did they just send him away? What happened? Tommy's dead. I was like, no! But man.
He had to go be the lead of Chicago Med.
Right? But I love how they reference that, too. And, like, I think it was, like, the 100th episode of Arrow. They made a line. They had a line about that. It's like, oh, it's too bad Tommy couldn't make it. Nah, he's busy doing some stuff in Chicago. I was like, oh, because I had no idea what Chicago Med was because I was watching the Flash and Arrow after shows, and I was like, this is cool. One thing though that hooked me, the season that really got me like suckered in, was the season that Ollie died for a few episodes. I was like, yo,
That's season 3.
Yeah, I was like, Ra's al Ghul, are they doing this right now? They're doing this right now. They're doing this right now. So I'm like, okay, yeah. He's fucked, and so is Star City. What are we gonna do here? And you got, I was about to say Carol, Laurel just going around with the new Black Canary. I'm like, okay, this is a thing. This is a thing, and I'm rolling with it. And then, you know, and then she dies twice. No, she only dies.
She dies in season 5.
Yeah.
No, she dies at the end of season 4.
Yeah, friggin' Neil McDowell, whatever the fuck his character name was. Damien Dark.
Neil McDonough. Damien Dark. Also, Dum Dum Dugan in Captain America.
I know. I noticed that. But yeah, that was just so much fun to watch this stuff, and I was like, man, this is great. And then when they had him come back as Alsa Him, it's like, your name is Alsa Him. It's like, my name is Oliver Queen. I'm like, oh boy, back. But I love there was a meme that went around Facebook or whatever. It was like the last night that Oliver and Felicity would be together for that season. So they, you know, had a scene. I'm going to say it that way because it's as PG as I can make it. They had a romance scene, I'll put it that way. And there was a meme, like, what did you just tell Felicity? He's like, don't worry, you'll thank me later. I was like, yo! And by the way, this whole conversation was between friggin', what's it called? Oliver and Roz, which was always funny. Oh, man. But yeah. But I love how they had the team-ups for the first couple of seasons, because they had Oliver Queen come in on season 1, and they had Firestorm and the Flash on season 1, which is great. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Flash came in the same time Arrow was doing season 2, yes?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Barry gets introduced in season 2, 1. Episode 8, The Scientist.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I think I missed that episode or something, and I was like, where did this come from? But I didn't care. I missed the link until no, because I think I was, wait, what was season 3 then? What was season 3 about?
Season 3 was Ra's al Ghul, and there's no big team up in that because they're doing Flash stuff. Season 4 is setting up Legends of Tomorrow. Okay,
so the thing with because there was on the, not a big team up, but it was like Barry needed help with something. I think it was like Zoom or something.
Reverse Flash. Oliver and Firestorm show up.
Yeah, but I
to
also
help fight Reverse Flash.
Okay, but I remember that was when Oliver was still in like the green thing, right?
No, at that point he had already joined the League of Assassins.
Okay, that's why. Because I remember very distinctly him going, "So the new kid's like, I'm trying something new." I was like, "Okay."
You know what? Season 3 also introduces the Atom on Arrow.
Oh yeah, that was funny. I love Felicity too. She's like, "Oh my god, I have a type." I was like, "Yo." Oh my gosh. But yeah. Good for him though. Good for him. That's all I gotta say. Just... Good for Ray. Good for Ray.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I have a bit of a take on the Arrowverse.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So I've been watching. I watch every season, every episode since Arrow episode 1, season 1.
Okay, there's no need to brag.
I think
but okay.
Some of the most, probably the peak of Arrow. Well, sorry, some of the best put together stuff on any of the shows is Arrow season 2. That's just amazing.
Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong. That was before or after they brought in Felicity on the team?
Felicity on the team is midway through season 1.
Okay, so they did that early. Okay.
Yeah. No, she's actually in episode 2 or 3, and then because she was only supposed to be a one-off character, but they loved the actress, so they kept her around forever.
Yeah, I can see why. She is amazing.
But the most entertaining show or anything that I will watch over and over again, and I own every season and stuff, but Legends of Tomorrow season 2 and onward are some of the most entertaining stuff ever, because it's just all so stupid.
Okay,
but it's so much fun.
Okay, that was the one thing, because I couldn't get I tried getting past season 1. I just couldn't.
Honestly, season 1, it's too serious for itself. But season 2, they start being like, hey, guys, this is a fun show. Let's have some fun. And like Heatwave is maybe like he's one of my top 4 characters in the whole
Rory
universe.
is awesome.
Sarah is still, that love of my life. Sorry, fiance. But Sarah's amazing.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
They're doing Constantine right now. There's in the end of season 3, there's a giant fight between a demon and a Furby. It's so good.
I was about to put jerky chew on my mouth. Say that again?
In the end of, I believe it's season 3, the final battle is between the demon Malice, who has been fucking with them all season, and 5 of the legends who have Voltron themselves together to make this blue, fluffy, Furby-looking thing called Bebo, who at one point in the season was a time-displaced toy that the Vikings worshipped as God.
Okay.
And it's a dumb show. You gotta turn off your brain. And then the next season has in the first episode has a unicorn biting a guy's nipple off.
Okay.
It's so much fun.
Okay. I kind of liked it when it was a serious-ish show, and they were trying to stop like Vandal Savage because that made sense. They were tracking him through time. And then you told me about a Furby. I'm like, all right, where the hell do we take this conversation from here?
So let's bring it back a little bit to like comics and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing Crisis on Infinite Earths for their big crossover event this year.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited for that.
Oh, me too.
Because they can do anything they want.
Okay, now here's the thing.
And
now here's the thing I'm hoping they do. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I want them to bring all of the Earths, all the different characters or whatever, because Supergirl's on like Earth 37, which is bullshit.
33.
I know you're trying to help, but that gets really fucking annoying.
Sorry.
Like I said, 37 or some shit. That includes 33.
All right, fair enough.
But if you want to get technical, yes, it is Earth 33. Bastard. Anyway, what I would like for them to bring all of those to one Earth. That way there's no like, hey, we no longer have to go, we have to go to get Supergirl on Earth 33. Hey, Cisco, can you, oh no, Cisco can't use his abilities. He's still got shards in his hand. That sucks. How are we going to get there now? You know, that's stupid.
Yeah.
It would make,
I get that.
it would make the crossovers a bit easier to do, but a lot less fun.
Yeah. But also, like, that, it brings up so many issues if you put all the Earths together.
Not all, just handpick a few.
Yeah.
Do like they did with the actual comics. Like, okay, the Anti-Monitors wiped out all the ones we don't give a shit about, like Earth 90. I mean, gotta love Barry Allen from that Earth. It's a good throwback. No one gives a shit. You know? We have a new Barry now.
Yeah.
You know? But I loved John Shipp when he went, my name is Barry Allen, and I'm from this other Earth. I'm like, but it was even funnier because you had like,
That it.
huh?
I said that was great.
Yeah, that was great. Even better is you had the Smallville Green Arrow, like vest thing on like a dude like laying down like he was defeated. I was like, oh shit. But the best part had to be when they did the Smallville throwback.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was great.
Showing up at the farm, that music. Oh. You're cheating. You're cheating, man. You're cheating.
Same opening shot as the intro.
Yeah.
You fly in, you go to the same farm. But
Oh my god.
different Superman. It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Do you think
Always.
there's any chance that Tom Welling puts on the Superman costume for Crisis on Infinite Earths next year?
Oof. Gosh, with absolutely nothing to go on, and I know he's one of those guys where it's like, he's open to it, but he's not like, I don't want to do this. I wouldn't say for the Smallville suit. I would not say for that. Hold on. Hear me out. I would not say for the Smallville suit. That was basically Brandon Routh's suit. Fuck. I'm thinking, hopefully, they would have evolved it a bit and made it more along the lines of like a Kingdom Come Superman. Because he can pull off
Well, that'd
that.
be cool because he would be. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he can pull off that, white sideburns thing. That'd be good. And just have him be another Superman that helps this Superman. And then he gets sent off to the Paradise Dimension. But we don't have anyone from the Prime Universe. So, we couldn't do that. Because, gosh, I wish they had someone from the Prime Universe. That would be amazing. Anyway. But, but I loved the friggin', I love two things about the Flash. One, they had the first crossover with Supergirl. That was funny. Two, I love how late Ralph was when it came to the multiverse and time travel. I love that. It's like, oh, so you guys already know about the manyverse? The multiverse? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll be over here then. I could almost see his stomach just kind of inflate, like, okay, I'm done. It's like he's all depressed. Oh my gosh. But
I love every time someone new finds out about the multiverse.
Oh yeah.
Because they always have to be like, come on, guys, we know about this for years. Come on. It's not new information.
Right. But it's even funnier is like when they go to like, because in the first episode it was when Jimmy and Supergirl, he was talking about the multiverse. He was like, okay, so it's like, this is my Earth, this is another Earth. And when it's like, oh, like we're like an Earth where we're all evil. He goes, I've been to that Earth. It sucks. Yes.
But to be fair, let's do. It wasn't that bad when they were there.
No, it
It wasn't
wasn't.
that bad.
But I love the constant that it was like, no matter what multiverse or what spot, I love the constant of no matter where in the multiverse it is, Iris and Barry usually end up together. That's cool.
Yeah, I wish that maybe the Arrowverse universe was the one where they didn't, because I'm not a hot take. I do not like Iris on the show.
Ooh. Ooh. I might lose some subscribers over that one. All right. So I will bleep out, or at least edit out your entire sentence just now, and my reactions, so we will carry on as if nothing ever happened. All right? Okay. So, why is it you like Iris so much on this show?
Why don't I?
No, why do you? Why do you like Iris so much?
Oh, I'm just such a huge fan of the fact that this reporter with no formal training of any kind, lack of experience, is the leader of Team Flash.
No. They are not she is not the leader of Team Flash. She and Barry are the Flash. You forgot that point.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie. The last 2 seasons of Flash, I go to my fiance after I watch almost every episode, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stop watching Flash. I'm gonna do it. And she's like, no, you're not. You've been saying that for 2 years. And I'm like, I'm not. Because I need to know, because I can't watch Arrow and not Flash.
Right? Oh my gosh.
But the crossovers.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh man. That's gonna hit hard, because I just realized this is our final season of Arrow, and I have no idea how this last season ended.
Do you want me to spoil it for you? Or are you gonna watch it?
I usually would like to try and watch these things on Netflix, but I haven't seen the entire season at all. Same with Flash. Like I said, the only thing I watched in a bubble was Elseworlds. That was it, and that was only because it was on the app and it was free. I'm pretty sure I could try and catch up elsewhere, but I'm probably going to forget by the time you tell me, so go ahead. I know Nora dies in friggin' Flash 2, or this season of Flash. I just don't know why or how.
Time travel bullshit.
Fair enough.
But no, Arrow, you know what? No, there's a lot of like setup, and we've spent a lot of time on Arrowverse, so.
But it's
watch
like
it yourself.
Oh, that's harsh. But that's like the thing.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's no harsh than why on earth would I tell you that before I'm. It's no harsher. Enough. It's no harsher than that. By much.
But no, they set up in the final episode of Arrow. They set up Crisis on Infinite Earths with like the return of the Monitor.
Okay, that much I saw. That much I saw online. It's like I keep. Yeah. It's like in everything I keep seeing you a death. I'm like, lovely. So he's dead.
Well, then there's a scene after that they don't show online, wherever, where it's clear that he's just in the paradise dimension.
Oh, you bastards. So he's going to be the one to go to the paradise dimension. Everyone's going to go dark, and he's going to be the one to be like, no, this is not what we do here. This is not what we do. Who the fuck are you?
I am the darkest one here, but I am saying, smile, guys, come on.
It's like, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. But I swear, they better introduce like some Superboy Prime or something, because, gosh.
No, they're not.
Oh, but come on, dude. Dude. Superboy Prime. Fanboy. Anyway. Do you watch Comics Explained by any chance?
Sometimes. I'm not as into that as I used to be, but
okay. Well, if there's anything you should watch, it's definitely like all of his Infinite Crisis stuff. But because he is he's hype as hell for that, and that's why I was like, this is great. Just listening to him get hype, he's like, Connor, because he. Oh man, just to try and watch this. Oh my god, to try and explain this is just bad. The way he because his favorite part of Infinite Crisis is the first round fight between Connor and Clark Prime. He goes, he just rolls up to the Connor head. He's like, bitch, bam! It was like, he's like, they start fighting. Like Superboy Prime's like, man, you better come strong. I'm like, okay. And Jesse Sandsmark, she's like, hey guys, I brought the Titans and the Teen Titans and the Justice Society. Let's get them. Superboy Prime's like, I don't give a damn. He starts ripping people's arms off and shit. It's hilarious. His description of the thing is hilarious, not the actual scene. The scene is horrific.
Yeah. Infinite Crisis is one of the events that my fiance, who's not big into comics and stuff, but she heard me talk about all this stuff. Every once in a while, she'll be like, Dave, can you explain to me what happens in Infinite Crisis again? And I always start with, well, Superboy Prime punched a hole in reality.
You never start there.
That's where you gotta start, though, because that's the hook. That's how you get him.
No, you get him is because, okay, what happened is some asshole called the Anti-Monitor tried ruining the entire multiverse and remaking it with dark energy. So here's what happened. They put a stop to that back in the 80s. Then 3 or 4 characters went off into this thing called the Paradise Dimension. Then Superboy Prime punched a fucking hole through reality that altered the continuity as it was to begin with. Hence how you got Jason Todd back from the grave.
Give me my boy Red Hood!
By the way, how do you feel about his retcon?
Which one? I'm a little behind on Red Hood right now.
Okay, so Red Hood's retcon was basically it started out like he just got basically the retcon punch. But then they changed it to no, like Talia or one of the Al Ghuls, like brought him to the Lazarus pit, and I can talk again, and then brought him back. So it went from he got punched to life, or punched back to life rather, which is very funny. Saying that sentence is pretty funny. To he got thrown into the Lazarus pit. So that's the retcon I'm talking about.
I prefer that.
You preferred the Lazarus pit.
That's way better than Superboy Prime punched reality.
Yeah, much easier to
and brought him back. Also, I like that connection. What I don't like is the fan theory and stuff where Damian is actually Jason's son, not Bruce's.
That's weird.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but
that's just weird.
I'll take the Lazzy. I'll take a Lassie pit.
Okay, good. I was kind of surprised. Well, I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised they didn't use that in Arrow, but I'm like, oh yeah, how'd they get Sarah back? Oh yeah, that's right. They used the Lazarus pit. Sheesh.
Sarah, Thea, Roy.
Roy, you got put in the Lazarus pit?
Well, watch season 7 of Arrow.
Dude, I didn't watch season 7 of Arrow. That was this past season, wasn't it?
It was.
I didn't watch this season.
Well, all you know now is there's a Lazarus pit, and Roy's involved with it.
I haven't watched the past couple of seasons of Arrow because I haven't had fucking TV.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for it to go on
You're
Netflix.
missing out.
Tell me about it. Man. Anyway. Damn. So, did I hear correctly? Was Godspeed in this past season of Arrow or no?
Well, he was in Flash.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Flash,
not Arrow.
I was talking about the Arrowverse.
He was in. He was in one episode. Costume looked real dope, and I doubt we'll ever see him again.
Oh damn! There was another. Yeah, it's like after that was revealed, it's like there was another friggin' meme on Facebook. It's like, man, these. We don't. I'm getting tired of seeing all these speedster villains. This show regular villains. Man, these villains suck. Godspeed. Oh my God, he's amazing. What the fuck?
They even name dropped Red Death this season. It's like,
they did.
My God, what?
They went metal. Yo.
Well, no, it was just a name drop.
I know, but
it was just a name drop where they were in the Flash Museum, being like, "Oh man, all these bad guys."
Yeah.
There was Reverse Flash. There was Savitar, Red Death, Cicada, and we're like, "Okay, sorry, let's go back a second." Red Death?
Yeah, because wasn't that
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because wasn't that the friggin'... Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Wasn't that the friggin' Negative Earth Flash / Batman thing going on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. And I have all of that too, the Dark Knight's Metal, which you can clearly see.
I actually love Dark Knight's Metal. I got a buddy who hates it, but I loved it.
Dude. I read through the whole main story, so I know how it ends, which is awesome. I just haven't read the full story. Because I have all 4 books. I'm like, okay, I read the main story. Do I want to do a deep dive into all the origins? Do I want to do a deep dive into the Forge? Do I want to do a deep dive into this? Not right now. I've got a million other comics to read. It's like before
To be
now.
fair.
Huh. Go ahead.
To be fair, the origins of each one of the individual Dark Knights are real good. Real good.
Oh yeah, I was watching that via Comic Historian, so I already know their origins. But then it's just okay. Who's your favorite Dark Knight out of those?
Well,
and
I personally love is her name the Drown? It's the Aqua woman.
Yeah,
Batman.
Yeah. I forgot her name though.
I loved that version.
I think it was like Bryce
I think it was
Wayne.
Drowned or something.
No. I'm thinking of her actual name, Bryce. I think her name was because she was.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce Wayne, who was in love with Sylvester Kyle. I'm like, okay, now you're going a little too far there. But yeah, I got.
At least they got to get married. Batman and Catwoman. Ugh.
Ooh, shots fired. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, dude. What else is there? Oh, by the way, that's getting cut short too. That whole run is getting cut short.
Oh my God, I'm so upset about that because we wasted 10 issues of nightmares.
Yep. But speaking of nightmares, sheesh. One nightmare I would hate to have This fucking Devastator walk up to my front door. How scary would that be? You got a Batman with the fucking Doomsday virus. You're sitting like, okay, I'm just eating my popcorn, and knock, knock, knock. You know, all you hear is, I'm like, what the heck? You look through the peephole. All you see is Batman. You see the bat symbol. Oh, Batman. Oh, fucking nope. Nope. Not today.
No.
But
closing the door.
Nah, I'm good. I didn't do no evil. I'm not doing nothing. But seriously though, the Batman who laughs. Oh God. Do you remember his story?
Yeah, and I've been reading his ongoing series right now.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I got the first issue. I'm like, I want to read this so bad. Dude. Okay, first off.
Now, Go.
I think it was Batman killed Joker. Right? I think. And then as Go ahead.
I said, I think so.
Okay. And then what happens is Joker has one last gas, if you will, stored in his lungs for when he breathes his final breath. He releases this gas into whoever killed him to make the next Joker. Only problem is, it was Batman. And then as soon as he gets to the cave, like a couple weeks or so later, he goes, he has everyone gathered around him, and he's got his cape closed. By the way, if Batman ever calls you into the Batcave and he has his cape closed, how suspicious are you?
Medium, at least.
I'd be like, no, because Bruce, you usually sit down with your cape open. No, I don't trust you. Open your cape right now. I don't trust you or that Cal. Open your cape right now. Anyway, but so he goes, you guys would be the first ones to know if anything was wrong with me, and that's why I called you guys here today, so you can die. I'm like, oh fuck. By the way, my whole bar for my level, the whole bar for my levels on OBS just went red for a second. I was like, oh, so I apologize to all those with earbuds for just now. But yeah, it was just great, dude. Just having this, and but the next thing you start taking on the Justice League one at a time, and then it finally got to Superman, and I was like, no. Not this way. Because he had some kind of Joker toxin for him and Jonathan. I'm like, no, leave the kid out of it. No, just no. Oh gosh. I don't know.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's just, sheesh. That's gonna keep me up tonight. But yeah, dude. So let's get out of the darkness here. What are some things you've been reading lately? Because I can't talk right sometimes.
Well, I've been like a good fan. I've been keeping up with most of the current DC stuff. I've kind of fallen off Marvel recently, though. I don't know why.
Okay, you brought up DC. How do you feel about how Heroes in Crisis is either ended or ending? How do you feel about that?
I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it. I just don't think, I think it's a total betrayal of who that character is that they would do that.
Well, and full spoilers here, we're talking about Wally West, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the story, as I understand it, is so far, because again, I keep up with Comic Historian because Comic Historian is basically how I get comics because I can't afford to keep up with all of them all at once. It's like I want to read Doomsday Clock for crying out loud. I can't read that yet. Although I took a quick peek at an issue like halfway through this thing, Dr. Manhattan sees, and I'm going off on a slight tangent here, Dr. Manhattan sees a potential future or something, or how something could come out, and he sees Superman get up all kinds of pissed, go to throw a punch, and he sees nothing else. I'm like, does he destroy me? Do I destroy the universe? What happens? I'm like, oh shit, it's about to go down. Anyway, getting back on topic. And this is, again, this is Heroes in Crisis. So, I've been keeping up with that. That's where Comics Explained and Comic Story and kind of come in handy, because I'm like in a clutch. I'm like, okay, I need to know this stuff. Can't afford the comics. Let's do this. You know. So Wally West being stripped out of his own timeline-ish. I was about to say time zone, which makes no freaking sense. His own timeline. Doesn't have his wife, doesn't have his kids, but he has the memories of them. You know? And I remember reading the first volume of Titans. Boy, oh boy. Friggin' Abracadabra's a dick.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's like, oh, I was the one who sent you back into the time stream without your memories. Why? I was like, why would you do such a thing, you asshole? You know, but at the end, it cost me my own abilities. I'm like, you're a douche. So I will do this. And I was like, and I made them even further apart. I'm like, okay, keep twirling your mustache, you prick. Anyway, I didn't read much after that because Comixology only goes so far. So, keeping up with this, I got the feeling that was a misdirect anyway. So, if I'm understanding the story so far correctly so far, if I'm understanding the story correctly so far, that's what I'm trying to say. Fucking hell. Anyway, Wally West got so depressed. That's a rhyme. Damn, that is sad.
Oh, you didn't even know it.
That's not it. No, I'm just saying what friggin' happened. So West got depressed, so he went back in time. He went forward in time, grabbed his future self from like a few days, like 4 or 5 days in the future, grabbed that version of his future self, brought him back in time, and killed himself. So they can find him 5 days later and see if they can put a stop to this loop. So far. And I think they did put an end to the loop. I just don't remember how. Am I right so far?
Kind of. Like, his motivations are a little bit less simple than that.
Well,
but
I simplified it because to say, kind of explain like, hey, back before all this happened, you had friggin' Wally West and Linda Park, I think Linda Park West or Linda West, I think her name was at that time. And the Linda Park. No, I'm talking about when they got married. I don't know if she hyphened or just took the name. Because I knew it was Linda Park, because Linda Park was in friggin' Flash, and that was weird. But, so it's like, they had twins. He was lost in the timeline for like ever. He comes back. Everything he knew and loved was gone except Barry. And no one else remembered him except, Barry. And even then it was just barely. So, that was weird. So it just became this whole thing of, well, what does he do after this? He doesn't have his wife. He doesn't have those who loved him. He lost his lightning rod. Or so he thought. Which I kind of liked how they brought that, I thought, to a close when he went into the Speed Force in Titans Volume 1 of Rebirth. But apparently that got undone. And I don't know why they had this... what'd they call it?
What they call what?
The asylum thing. Not the asylum thing.
Sanctuary.
Okay, so they literally just called it Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Okay. Never knew Batman was so not ill creative. Was was creatively challenged. Okay. Well, then again, he does put bat in front of everything, so kind of proves a point.
I was about to say.
It's like, sir, your new equipment. Oh, the batarangs, yes, explosive batarangs. So I was thinking about calling them. They're explosive batarangs. Yes, sir. Okay. So he does have the creativity of a child. Good to know. Ooh, too soon? Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Sanctuary. But what would happen... Well, again, I guess that was kind of the whole point of what would happen if someone hacked into this and let all that stuff free. But still, I'm a little confused. The whole story. And the fact it's supposed to tie in with Doomsday Clock, which is pushed back forever. I'm like, dude, you're going to have another crisis before this thing is finished.
Okay. Can I say why I'm so mad at Doomsday Clock?
I thought we were talking about Heroes in Crisis, but sure.
Oh, sorry. You just by bringing up Doomsday Clock and how it's never going to finish and stuff.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
That's got me so upset. So, I don't know if you remember, but years and years ago, when Batman became the god of knowledge by sitting in Metron's chair.
3 Jokers.
3 Jokers. And they've never talked about that again.
Okay.
Do you know why they've never talked about that?
Because it's going to be on DC's Black Label?
No. Well, I don't know if that's true, but...
That's what I've heard.
Oh. But one of the writers was asked why we never talked about that. And they said, well, that's a Jeff Johns thing. And he's gonna deal with the 3 Jokers after Doomsday Clock.
Oh, God.
It's like, fucking Doomsday Clock finish so I can get my 3 Jokers.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. God. Great googly moogly, dude. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But, wow. I did not know that was a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of not being a thing, what do you think about DC's Black Label?
I could not care any less for it.
So you don't care about the Batwing that got censored a day after it got released?
No, I don't. The thing is, comics to me have always been a very, very inclusive medium where it doesn't matter what gender or age or race or sexual orientation or what have you.
Yeah.
You are. But there's always a comic for you and stuff. So the fact that this existed and it was oh, this is our edgy, mature stuff. I'm like, okay, but that's not what I care about. I know it's not canon, so I don't care. And I also am it's just going to be. I feel like that label for the most part is just going to be dicks and swear words for the sake of having dicks and swear words.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's just lazy. And that's not what I'm about.
I'll give you props on that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Now, if in the next issue of Batman, they got throw Wang out there, it's okay, that was too much. But I understand why they made the label and stuff. I don't care about it.
Yeah, I got you. But, yeah, man, that's... that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. So, what are you most... As far as comic stuff goes, whether it's movies, TV shows, whatever, what are you most looking forward to? Not just in this next year or this next couple of months, but just further on down the line. What's got you your goat? What's got you the most excited so far? I'll put it that way.
Well, it's really, there's nothing specific because for the most part, I don't know where things are coming, or what they're gonna be coming forward. Like I'm excited for like Batman, where we're going right now. I'm excited for the new stories with Wally West that are coming out. I'm looking forward to jumping back into Marvel and stuff and trying to catch up there because it's been too long since I kind of walked away from reading Marvel comics. And then obviously, excited for Christ on Infinite Earths. It's just right now, it's just a golden age to be a comic book fan. Like we are living in the greatest time.
Yeah.
For me to be who I am and for you to be who you are, because this is just you can throw a stick and you're gonna hit a comic book movie, a great comic book run, a cool TV show or something, and it's just you got your pick of the litter. It's amazing.
Yeah. Now, my question is this, because I don't know how you feel about this subject, but one thing that really ticks me off, and this is why I brought up the thing of nerd cards as a joke before, but now I'm starting to think for my ring of friends I might implement these because I get tired of these guys that are like, oh yeah, I was this like, I kept it on the down low in high school, but I was always into this type of stuff. I'm like, bitch, you lying. You stuffed me into a locker because I wore a Superman shirt. Shut up. Like, not that I could ever fit into a locker. Have you seen the size of me? I don't think so. But I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not how that works, dude. Like, you can't just jump on when something's hot and then pop off as like, oh, this movie sucked, man, because it is this. I'm like, can't you ever just enjoy something just for the sake of enjoying it? It's like, I could tell this one dude, because I work at a theater, and I could tell this one dude was a Marvel fanboy. I wanted to talk about this for the longest. He's like, man, that's like the CGI made these guys look like rubber. These movies suck. Marvel's way better for blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, shut up. Just enjoy the fucking movie. Man. So what is your side of this?
It's like I was talking about with comics and all that stuff before, or what I said during the Black Label thing. I don't like people being like, oh, I'm a huge comic book fan, but they've only ever seen like the MCU movies and stuff. Because I have some friends who are like, they were like, oh yeah, I'm a big comic book guy, and I'm like, no, it's like you've seen Iron Man 1, 2, Endgame, and that's it. You can't tell me who the Fantastic Four are and stuff because they're not in the MCU. But I am excited, and I openly, every time someone tells me that, I'm like, okay, so you like those movies. Have you ever thought about like getting into comics and stuff? And for the most part, there's a lot of people who are receptive, and I just try to bring everyone in to a little bit selfishly. Because if I can get all my like casual comic fans into super fandom, I will be the one who brought them in, and then I will eventually be crowned king of the nerds because I had the most knowledge.
Good luck with that, because I came up with an idea for a writer's room. I'm going to just throw this out here now and see what you think about it. Because you know me, I'm always thinking of stuff for the writer's room and such. And so I was thinking down the line, because we just, for those who aren't keeping up with it, you should. It's self-indulging plug, but it's my show. I can do whatever the fuck I can talk whatever the heck I want. But hey, my show, my rules. I'm gonna throw this at you. Supergirl versus the Elite with Idris Elba as Manchester Black.
Oh.
See, that's the second time I've gotten you this week with an "ooh, I didn't think of that."
Dude, you know what? That was a great call. That was a great call both times. I won't ruin what the other one was. Watch the episode and find out whenever we record that.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
But I like
that.
Yeah. So we're talking about all this. I got a question for you.
I'll go for it. Shoot.
Something I don't actually know.
Okay.
Who is your number one? Who's your number one guy? Who's your favorite superhero, favorite supervillain?
I was about to say, because I know you ain't talking about it. It's like, who's your number one guy? I'm like, it sure as hell ain't Jack Napier. I can tell you that right now. Oh, boy. You mean talking about like superhero-wise comic book characters and such?
Yeah. Like, who's your...
man.
Because this is something that we've talked a lot about this stuff, but this has never actually come up. Like, who's your favorite superhero and then supervillain? Let's just like go through that.
Man, to be honest, I never really thought about it. Top is always hard because it's like, because the older we get, the more we kind of go back to certain people, to certain heroes, and even certain villains for certain reasons.
Yeah.
So I'll give you phases in my life, and kind of go from there. The first one was when I was growing up. I will unabashedly say this. It was Superman. So much so that I thought I was Superman. Like, my mom would tell me I'd have like my Superman like PJs on. Superman come on, I was like, I gotta watch this to see where I came from. That whole thing. Yeah. But then as I got older and I got into high school, I was like, Batman has the right idea. I just want to punch folks in the face and just call it a day. But then as I got older, still, it became Punisher, because Punisher was that next level of what we actually need. What I think sometimes. But then it's just, now it's more, yeah, you could see I went dark for a while.
Oh, man.
Coming back out of it, though, my favorite superhero, though. Let's see. I know I was reading his small 4-issue tie-in with Flashpoint. It's got to be Booster Gold at this point, man. Because...
Oh, dude. That's awesome.
Because I didn't understand why... I didn't understand, because I watched Batman the Brave and the Bold. Booster was always in it. He was always this like glory hound, like whatever, kind of like, hey, we just teamed with bats and we won, I was like, okay. But I went back and I watched Comic Historians. I think it was a Superman issue with Booster Gold, and he went back in time to save Lois and John from dying when Lois went on a story. And he was going to get in trouble for that, and no one would ever know what he did. And it's just the fact that he was like, you know what, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with doing the very heroic stuff and not getting any credit. If I'm the laughingstock, so I become nothing to history, that's fine. But I can do these things that no one else will know I did, probably except Batman. Because he fucking knows everything. And that'll be okay. It's like in Flashpoint, friggin', what's it called? Have you read the Flashpoint Booster Gold thing or no?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I've read all of Flashpoint, all the times and stuff.
Okay, cool. So you remember when he was fighting Doomsday, he goes, dude, I fought Doomsday. He punched me to fucking space. But I have to protect this woman who I don't even know. And I'm going to do it because they think I'm the bad guy. And they sent this thing here. And I'm like, dude, he was all but willing to die, and I was like, dude, that's, bruh, oh my gosh. I can't, dude, I just can't. The Booster's like,
Booster
right
Gold, also, one episode of Smallville.
Yeah, and again, but that was more his, like, first, like, debut, like, his first appearance, almost. Before I really got to know him, he was still that cocky, like, yeah, I'm just doing this for babes, money, and glory. Nothing major. I just want to look like a cool dude. Look like a cool douche. But yeah, it's like, that was cool, man. And then one thing I think he hasn't really gotten over is the fact that he wasn't there, or he couldn't be there for Ted Kord before he died. But I was like, dude, if you read Injustice, I think it was Injustice 2 or something, before he dies, Ted comes in and goes, "Dude, I got you. I'm here like you were here for me." I'm like, dude, don't pull on my heartstrings like that. You can't do it. I was like, bro. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that right now that would be my favorite right now. You know.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I want to recap this. I started out hope, all this good stuff. You believe a man could fly. To I want to break someone's face. To I want to shoot somebody. Back to I'm doing this because no one else will, and I'm gonna do this because no one else will know that I did it. So those 4 evolutions, those 4 stages in my life, were cool. Those are the ones that mean a lot to me right now. You know, those are the ones I kind of like. These are my 4. These are my guys. You mess with these, I punch you in the face. You know, that's it. But yeah, what's yours, dude?
I got an unconventional one that has been my favorite.
Hold on,
and you're gonna be like, you gotta tell me why.
I think you told me this, or it may just be your one out of the few from Earth. But I think you're about to tell me it's Guy Gardner Green Lantern, isn't it?
He's my favorite Green Lantern.
Okay, he's your favorite Green Lantern. Okay,
but he is not my favorite superhero.
Okay. I was like
my favorite.
Sorry, go ahead.
My favorite superhero of all time. Oh, sorry.
No. I was just saying, like,
you can finish your Guy Gardner point if you want.
I would say because I remember us talking about this for something else. Because I brought up jokingly, like, oh, I was thinking Chris Pratt. You're like, you are not letting Chris Pratt anywhere near my favorite Lantern. No. You know. I was like, okay. Such hostility. That's Canadian hostility. Okay. Calm down. So who is your favorite then? Sorry.
My favorite of all time is actually a Marvel character.
Oh, really?
And it's Hank Pym, Ant-Man.
I think you did tell me this, and you told me because he gets such a bad rap. Right. Yeah. Still don't buy it.
Fair. He deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
Hank Pym is a terrible human being. just awful.
Yep.
Like there's a moment where bug sprays Janet while she's tiny.
Yeah, that. Oh gosh.
Has affairs and sleeps with not Cheetah because that's DC, but like the Cheetah equivalent of Marvel.
Hang on, I'm trying to think what you're
and has
talking
like
about.
20 different. He has like 20 different personas.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, come on, pick one.
Yeah.
But Hank Pym has always been, from the time I was young, and part of it is the growing and shrinking of it, because I've always been, like, for context, right now I'm 6'5", but I've always been tall.
Yeah.
So there's something interesting to me about a guy who could like control his size and stuff. I was like, man, I wish I could do that.
I wish I could be
with all the other kids.
You're right. But way, sorry, you didn't interrupt me. I'm not going to interrupt you. Sorry, go ahead.
But then as I started reading more and more into him and stuff, you realize just how multifaceted Hank Pym is. He's one of the few comic characters that is constantly dealing with mental health concerns, whether it's paranoia, split personalities, hyper depression, hyper obsession. He's always got something going on, and then he does just terrible things. Also, like I know it wasn't the artist or the writer's original intent, but he slaps Janet and stuff. He tries to, on several occasions, tries to kill a bunch of people.
Yeah. Creates
Ultron for altruistic reasons, maybe, but he created Ultron. And there's something just so fascinating. Every time that I pick up something, there's the surface level of Hank Pym where you're just like, man, this guy is just the third smartest person in the universe and a douchebag. I hate him. But and you start once you strip some of that away and you start looking deeper and stuff, you're like, oh my god, this is a deeply troubled individual who is dealing with so much so that his first son is Ultron.
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's just their constant back and forth relationship, even to the point where they like fusion together. It's just, that was stupid, but insane. And I always loved it.
Yeah. Now, as far as the favorite supervillain, let's see. Because you did ask me, I don't know if you asked me either or and.
We can do and.
Okay, we can do and. Cool. So my favorite supervillain. Man, I gotta think about this one. Because when I think supervillains, I think back to what I watched growing up. I remember watching Clancy Brown portray Lex Luthor beautifully. I remember watching Michael Rosenbaum play Lex Luthor amazingly. I remember Mark... Huh?
I said, sounds like you're going to say Lex Luthor.
No. I'm just going back through the villains I've seen and I've heard. I remember Mark Hamill playing Joker up until 2015, iconically. Not even 2015 when Arkham Knight came out, but I want to say 16 when Killing Joke came out.
We can pretend that didn't happen.
There are a few things, yeah. But still, and I remember watching the first, air quotes, Batman Superman movie, which was basically World's Finest. And I would love that movie, and I love that show.
Why was that not Batman v Superman?
I don't know. We can get into a whole other thing with this, dude.
That's a separate podcast.
Yeah, it is. That's a Heroes Through the Decades, or Heroes Through Time, is what I think we called it.
Yeah.
Which you gotta knock out an episode or two of that sometime, because that's gonna be a fun thing to do. But as far as villains go, I believe the best villains come from tragedy, and if they're made from a hero, that tragedy leads to their best redemption. So for me, it has to be, and I think you can guess where I'm going with this. You want to take a guess first?
Can you give me Marvel or DC at least?
I can do that. It's DC.
Are you going to say Deathstroke?
No, I'm not going to say Deathstroke. No.
Oh, then lay it on me.
I'm going to say Hal Jordan Parallax as my favorite supervillain.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Because he's fighting the good fight in space. He's being a good soldier. He comes back home, and his home is a crater. Tell me you wouldn't be distraught by that. Tell me that wouldn't just break you down from the inside out and be like, okay, they're not really dead. They're not really dead. I got this magic ring that blue space elves gave me, and I'm gonna use this to bring back my hometown, and everything's gonna be fine. I'm gonna bring back everything's gonna be good. And then they take that power away from you, and you're like, oh no, because I've always had this in my head. If they ever did this, I would want this. I would want whoever's playing Green Lantern, whether it's Nathan Fillion or whoever, I want the actor to be able to get to this depth. He is crying out of the grief out of his home being this crater now. He is crying with the rage, so you can hear the rage and his voice breaking from everything hitting him at once. And all you can hear is, and it's all you see is the crater, and you can see this man in the epicenter of this crater screaming at the top of his lungs, hitting the ground, no, you are not taking this from me again. And they weren't even the ones to take it from him the first time. He just shoots off into space, literally cutting through every lantern in his way and taking their power rings. Dude. I don't care if it was retcon that he was possessed by Parallax or whatever. I don't care. Dude. To see him go from Emerald... What was it? Emerald Twilight? I think it was. When he became Parallax, I think.
Was that Emerald? It's Emerald something.
Yeah, let me double check that real quick. But to see him
Maybe
go...
Emerald Knight.
That doesn't make any sense. I know it wasn't Blackest Night. That's a whole other thing. Do this real quick. Let me just go comic story. No, don't start live, you moron. Thank you. Comic story, because I want to get this title complete. Because if you want 2 reading recommendations for Hal Jordan himself and why everyone loves and hates him at the same time, both in continuity and out of it, this is why. Green Lantern. Here we are. It's funny. I go to look up comic story in Green Lantern. The third thing that pops up is the Green Lantern extended cut. Yeah, so it's Emerald Twilight and Final Night. Yeah, I just looked those up myself. Yeah. So it's like, dude. So you went from cutting through everybody, being this... Oh my gosh. This is... I guess he could also be my favorite hero, too, because the best heroes have the best redemption. You know? So, he did this whole... He cut through everybody. He even almost cut down Sinestro. And they had that mother locked up in the central power battery. Yeah. So, that's how desperate they were. It's like, okay, Sinestro, you get a ring, you go take care of him because we can't control him anymore. And even Hal's like, I don't want to cut you down with all this power. I'll cut you down with my own ring. And even then, I'm like, nah, you're on your own. I'll just take off. I'm like, nope, bye. Just go. But then to see him come back when it's the Sun Eater about ready to destroy this planet, the star that we need to live, and he takes all of it in, and he says the words that he has not said in Lord knows how long. He says the Green Lantern Oath as he dies. And eventually becomes a Spectre, which leads to a great story written by Kevin Smith, but I'm not going to go there. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about Green Arrow Quiver. That is so good. So good. Very dark, very twisted, very weird, very Kevin Smith, but very good. But you just see him become this, like, pull all of this negative stuff into him, and he dies a hero. Whether Batman wants to admit it or not, he dies a hero. So, he became the broken down hero, turned into the villain, destroyed Cyborg Superman, and then is like, you know what? I avenged my city. I have to do what I have to do now. And the best part is, as Parallax, he friggin' held Faralat in the palm of his hand and then teleported him back to Earth. That's how powerful this motherfucker got. And he saved Earth. He saved Sector 2814. He did his job. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's a great reasoning. And Parallax is not one that I would have pegged, especially for you. I was expecting you to go with like a Darkseid or a Mongol or someone like that. But now, Parallax, woof.
Now, I would have, but a lot of people are like, oh, Darkseid's the man. You haven't even seen Darkseid yet. You know. And to go with a new god, that's overpowered. Ironically speaking, I know. It's a little inside joke we'll explain later, probably. But,
yeah.
And to go with someone like Mongol, I'm like, yeah, he owns a war world. Okay, he has a really big gun. He has a planet-sized gun. He is now Darth Vader of the DC universe. Big fruit and whoop. You know. But he's gotten his ass kicked, and he's had that war moon taken from him how many times already?
Too many.
Yeah. So I'm like, Joker, cliche. Luther, can't relate, you know. But someone who's human. Now, Luthor, I will say about Luthor, he may be my second or third favorite villain. Second or third, only because A, he's villain and he's human. Not that he's villain. He's obviously a villain. That's why we're talking about him. He's human, but he thinks he's fighting for the right cause because he, A, doesn't know Superman, and B, he doesn't trust him. I mean, matter of fact, if you watch the Rebirth, if you not watch the Rebirth, if you read Rebirth after he became God of Apocalypse, dude, they said that because okay, should we explain Darkseid War or no?
That's a whole separate podcast. Like, we've already been going at this for almost 2 hours. We're going to be another hour on Darkseid War.
Fair enough. So we'll save that for another podcast. But yeah, he had his own rise and fall. He was a hero after the New 52 Superman died. Then he just went off and became Luthor as per normal, which I'm okay with, but I'm also not okay with because I was like, I want to see what happens if these two were to work together. But I actually think this one's more Superman's fault than anything else. That's why Superman's kind of not my favorite superhero anymore. But my third, if I were to give you a top three, it would be Parallax, and it would be either Luthor at number 2, or let's see, who would be my other favorite? My third favorite. Who my third favorite be? I know you didn't ask for top 3, but I'm on this train. I might as well follow it to its logical conclusion. Depending on my mood, it might be 2 or 3, might be either Lex Luthor. 2 or 3 are interchangeable is what I'm trying to say. Then, unfortunately, Luthor might actually be in there at number 2 or 3, depending on my mood. But number 2, for this listing, for this particular time, Luthor's number 3, and I hate to say it, Joker's number 2. I know.
Oh boy!
I know they're cliche. I know people are like, "Oh, Joker's number 1. What are you talking about?" Yeah, but I gotta ask a question when you're talking about the Joker. Which one you talking about? Not because of the 3 Jokers thing. No. I'm talking about the different incarnations throughout the years. Are you talking about? I'm talking Joker as a whole, from his first concept from the Man Who Laughs to now. I'm talking about from the one who killed Jason Todd to the one who cut off Jason Todd's face, cut off every one of the Bat family's faces and had it before him while his own was held on his face was cut off from his head, but then he had his face put back over his head like a mask, held together by 2 belts.
Ugh.
Yeah. When that came out, I'm like, that freaked me out more than Deadpool. Be honest with you. The Deadpool.
Death of the Family.
Yeah, Death of the Family was sheesh. But then you go to Batman Endgame, and you see that, version of the Joker. And then you see Joker working with Batman to take out the Batman Who Laughs. And this is all the same Joker. Essentially, but maybe, believably, we don't know. But yeah, which Joker do you mean? Because I'm talking Joker as a whole. Joker from his inception is number 2. And you never know what he's actually thinking. Yeah, now I could go on, but the last thing I'll say about Joker is this: the best description of Joker. It's like, why is Joker your favorite? You can look at Riddler; his schemes are see-through. His rooms are see-through. You look at Luthor, even his schemes are see-through. He wants to bring down Batman. He wants to bring down Superman. You look at Joker. And this was best said from Batman in The Laughing Fish, and also done from Killing Joke and Injustice, where he actually won and it cost him his life, which I think is absolutely absurd. But that's what happens when you mess with the wrong dude. But it was the 2 things I attribute to Joker are The Laughing Fish and a Killing Joke for 2 lines. One is from Batman. Batman in the Laughing Fish says that Joker's schemes make sense to no one but himself. Number 1. And in the Killing Joke, his whole point is the same as the Heath Ledger's Joker. Everyone is this way. You just need one bad day, and you're just like the rest of us. That's it. How creepy is that?
It's real creepy.
There you go. But yeah, Parallax is my favorite. Sorry. I don't know why I just start getting all this like dissecting these things and it just works. I love these things. This is why superhero things are my favorite things to read, because you can read it over and over and over and over again and find something new about the character that you didn't pick up in that one line or that one panel that you did before, which is always amazing. I went on talking long enough. What are yours, dude? Sorry.
Well, my number 1 is also a human character. I'm jumping back. I know my favorite hero was a Marvel guy, but my favorite villain, hopping back over to DC.
Okay.
He's just a man. Just a man with simple goals of success, honor, and the ability to take down the entire Justice League. And I'm talking about Deathstroke.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Vandal Savage.
Deathstroke is... No, Vandal... I don't got time to go into Vandal Savage, but he's a very interesting character.
Fair enough.
But Deathstroke is a guy who the first time I saw him was in Identity Crisis. And it was just I didn't even read Identity Crisis. It was just a YouTube video which just flashed stuff, flashed like panels on screen. And it's like, look at this guy single-handedly destroy the Justice League. And it's great. And then eventually I went back and read it, but it's like cuts off all the arrowheads of Green Arrow's arrows. This overpowers Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern ring with just his will.
Yeah.
Takes down Hawkman. Puts a sword in Black Canary's mouth so she can't scream.
And by the way, the one
Flash.
Okay, I want to cut you off for just a second. Sorry. The one thing that is really impressive is that Deathstroke knows these people so well, that he doesn't just put it in her mouth randomly. He hears her jaw click when before she screams. That's when he does the sword thing. Continue. Sorry.
But then the Flash, who's a speedster, and you're like, well, this is just a man with a sword. How's he gonna take down the Flash? Is like, he's too predictable. Just puts his sword behind him, stabs Wally through the chest, uses just a laser pointer to to make the Atom like not viable anymore by burning him at that size. And this is just him fighting in a back alley, but then constantly going toe to toe with Batman. And I don't remember who it was, New 52 or Rebirth, but Amanda Waller hired him to go fight Superman. And
that was Rebirth.
That was Rebirth, yeah. And he beats him by throwing spray painted green rocks at him and making Superman think that he's been kryptonited, which is just crazy that he has that much intuition to be able to do that. Obviously, he lost that fight eventually because it's a Superman book. Superman's going to win. But Deathstroke, just so smart. He knows he can push Superman so far and he's not going to die, and that's his upper hand. or you go to like Judas Contract and the stuff he uh, does to Beast Boy and the entirety of the Titans, or then even go Teen Titans Rebirth and stuff, where he gets Speed Force powers and tries to go back in time and save his son.
Yo.
And you just
Dude.
constantly go back, and he's a guy who, when he is fighting, the only reason he even gets involved in like supervillainy and stuff is because his son, who doesn't even know that his dad is Deathstroke, starts idolizing Deathstroke and is like, I'm going to be just like Deathstroke, and I'm going to go take down the Teen Titans and stuff. And then because his son dies in that battle, Deathstroke's like, well, now death to superheroes. They are the worst.
Yeah.
And stuff. And then you find out about, he's pretty much, if Captain America went bad, because he's super patriotic. All he cares about is being a soldier. Falls in love, gets what's essentially super soldier serum.
Yep.
And
Go ahead. Sorry.
when it's like when he's cast aside by the military and stuff, he does the one thing he knows how to do, and he starts taking assassination contracts and this and that, and but he's doing it for his family. First things first is honor and family. And then you even go back to like even the Teen Titans like 2003 cartoon.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh my god, that was
where they weren't allowed to
scary.
call him Deathstroke.
Yeah, they call him
Death
Slade.
is too scary.
Yeah, Slade.
Which, oh my god,
That's a scarier name.
Yeah. And like, he's just so menacing that entire time. And like,
even when he's an illusion in friggin' Robin's head, that is terrifying. You remember that episode, right?
So good. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
It's like, how did Slade's gone, man? But it's like, no, he beat me up. He beat me up for sure. It's like, did he, Robin? And then you as the viewer are even like, is Slade really gone? Or the episode where where Slade got Robin like on his side essentially and was like, hit this button and it will torture all your friends.
Oh yeah, that was when that was literally the two-parter called The Apprentice, and that was just like, oh my gosh, dude. It's like, I love this. I love this little thing too. He goes, and by the way, Slade in this part was voiced by Ron King Perlman. Holy crap!
Oh, so
he was like, who knows, Robin? Maybe one day you'll see him as a father figure. He looks up. I only have one father. I'm like, oh, then you see bats. I'm like, yay! They made a nod. Damn, that was bad.
But like even in like the one episode of Smallville that he's in, where he kills Hawkman, I believe.
Wait, Deathstroke's in friggin' Smallville?
Yeah. He's played by it's the Battlestar guy, I think, or maybe he's Star Trek. But yeah, he's only in one episode.
I'll look
But
into that.
I think he either kills Hawkman or gets killed by Hawkman. I know Hawkman and him are involved. But there are some iterations of Deathstroke, or like, the bullet fire that Deathstroke's the guy who got Batman to pull the trigger and try to shoot him.
Dude.
Like Deathstroke did that in I don't even remember what storyline that was.
I can look it up.
Regardless, the one where Bloodhead gets blown up.
Was that No Man's Land?
No. I think actually it might have been part of Identity Crisis, but
I'll look it up. Give me like 2 minutes.
okay. But Deathstroke is so good. And then just for my other, since you gave 3, my other 2. I go
I didn't
1
mean-
over.
I didn't mean to, but it just
sorry?
kind of came out that way. I didn't mean to, it just kind of came out that way. Sorry.
Yeah. Just I won't go in depth on them because I don't have as much attachment to these two and as much love as I have for Deathstroke. But my other two are Doctor Doom, because I think he's a world leader. He's a supervillain, maybe one of the smartest people in the universe. Also a wizard. He's everything.
He went and fought in hell for his mother's soul.
And he's the bad guy.
I know. I want to see that made
But-
into a movie, personally.
Yeah. And then my other one is hopping over, and I was just talking about how Deathstroke's this super, like, multifaceted, super interesting character who I think has great motivations and stuff. And then my other one is the Red Lantern leader, Atrocitus. I love Atrocitus so much.
That he has good reason to be, yeah.
To be fair though, he's a little one note, but every time Atrocitus shows up, I'm just like, oh yeah, let's see what this big bad boy's gonna do.
I attribute Atrocitus, funny, to not so much his, thing. Hold on. Let me read this. Not so much to his personal storyline, but as a constant reminder of how pathetic. I'm trying to find the right word. Of how, in all actuality, how human the Guardians are. Because the first thing they did, they didn't have the Green Lanterns at first. They had the Manhunters, and the Manhunters just went through and destroyed all of Atrocitus's family and his planet, I think. And I don't think they really gave a reason. They were just like, yeah, we did it.
Well, do you know what sector that he's from?
666.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's literally a giant red guy who looks like the devil. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
You know what?
Are you about
Maybe
to?
a good call.
I was about to say, if you're going to say that, that is so racist. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find this.
But Atrocitus, and it also helps that Daxstar, the evil space kitty, is always hanging around with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my fiance just got a cat, and I'm like, we can only get a cat if I can name it Daxstar.
You are such a nerd.
The fact that there is not an ongoing series, which is not Daxstar versus Chip, the Green Lantern Squirrel, is criminal.
By the way, Michael Hogan played Slade Wilson in Smallville. That's who that was.
Yeah.
And I cannot find that, what's it called? Storyline. Sorry.
Yeah, it's during the I think it's during the Cry for Justice days.
I don't know.
I don't know. No, that's Prometheus. I don't know.
Forget it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but yeah, those are my three. And Deathstroke's just he's the man.
Yeah, man. But dude, I think we could go on for almost another hour for breaking down our favorite whatever it is. So I will wrap this. I will ask. I'll have us answer this question. One last one, or actually these two last questions because these two are gonna be funny. Favorite sidekick or team? Because we're not doing either or and we're not doing that. No. it's going to be one or the other. Either favorite sidekick, not including Nightwing, or favorite team. It could be anything. So we'll start with that one, then I'll get to...
All right. Favorite team is one that not a lot of people look at. And it's a very recent addition to the comic book pantheon.
Really?
And it is the Dark Trinity.
I had a feeling you were going to say this. I had a feeling.
Red Hood, my boy, Artemis the Amazonian, and Bizarro.
I think Bizarro died.
Yes, no. Him and Artemis got sucked into a weird other dimension thing.
Okay.
Was also dying, but also became smart.
Yeah, and then he became and then he became Flowers for Algernon, or Flowers for Bizarro at that point.
Yeah. But like they are so cool because they are such a interesting reflection.
Yeah.
Of what the Holy Trinity could be.
Yeah, or could
and
have
it helps
been.
That,
yeah.
It helps that Jason Todd, where he's not my favorite Robin, but he is my favorite post-Robin, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, who is your favorite Robin then?
My favorite Robin is probably it's a cheat, but it's either Dick or Carrie.
Nice.
Yeah, right. I like Carrie a lot.
Nice.
But Jason is my favorite post, and Red Hood is my boy.
Nice.
I have a great cosplay of Red Hood. It's great.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. As for me, favorite sidekick or team? Sidekick or team? I'm only thinking of this because of Batman the Brave and the Bold, which is so funny. So funny. Actually, you know what? I know I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to be... Okay, so spoilers, it's either... If you want to call it either Young Justice or Teen Titans, that's fine with me. Either one of those can take this spot. But the only reason I'm thinking about this right now is because... And I'm going to ask a fairly stupid question because I think you did. You watched Batman the Brave and the Bold, right?
Yes, but I didn't like it I did not like most of it with the exception of the Music Meister episode.
Okay, I thought you were going to say
watched that at least once a year.
Nice. Okay. So, here's me. I have a few episodes that are my favorite. One of them is called Sidekicks Assemble. This is the first episode where Batman, Aquaman, and Green Arrow are trying to track down Ra's al Ghul, and the sidekicks come in, which would be Robin, I think Dick Grayson Robin. Yeah, Dick Grayson Robin, Aqualad, and Speedy. Not your boy, your other boy.
What?
It's funny.
I just like red. That's it.
I noticed. So it's funny because what happens is there's this one little line where it's like you've always treated us like second best. It's like you just see Green Arrow, voiced by I think it was James Arnold Taylor, I think his name is, who does General Kenobi in Star Wars, the Clone Wars. He's literally like, I've always treated Speedy well. Flashback to a younger Speedy, like, I don't know, 12, and he's like really short. You know, short and scrawny, kind of how they were back in the day. And you just see Green Arrow's bow in this like pit of crocodiles or alligators or whatever, and they're both up a tree. Freaking Green Arrow goes, "Quick, jump in there and grab my bow." I'm like, no, you should not have kids near you ever.
Never.
But that whole thing is just hilarious to me. And this is the episode where we get Nightwing debuted. in Batman the Brave and the Bold. So you know, that's funny. Quick, jump in there and grab my bow. There's like 4 crocodiles just circling this thing. Oh my gosh! But yeah, no. But yeah. So, but Young Justice. If I really had to pick one, I would say Young Justice. And I'm not talking the comic book. I'm talking the Cartoon Network show that was canceled and then brought back on the DC Universe, which I may bring back if I can, because DC Universe needs some help, and I really want to finish Young Justice. And I really want to finish Titans and Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing before it gets canceled. Too late.
Too late.
Yeah. Before it gets canceled. Too late. But that was made out of defiance. And it was okay. And I love the line for this. If you pay attention to me, there's a lot of things that have to do with lines, because if I can relate to something you are saying, you've got me hook, line, and sinker. So it's like, after they pretty much made Cadmus implode, which was hilarious, it was like, actually no, before this, when they were in the thing, Flash goes, "You aren't trained." Kid Flash just goes, "Since when?" "I mean, you're not trained to be a part of this team." I'm like, first off, that's bullshit. So after they made Cadmus implode and they freed Superboy, the whole, like, 4 of them, Kid Flash, Aqualad, Robin, and Superboy, walk out, and I love this. It's literally, it's like, Batman goes, "You will not be doing this again." He goes, "I'm sorry." No, it's just Cal there. He goes, "I'm sorry, but we will." And then they go back and forth. It's like, "Know your place." I apologize, my liege, but this is my place. And then they go back and forth. Superboy finally draws a line in the sand. He goes, "It's simple. Either get on board or get out of the way." I'm like, oh, shit. Oh my, I was like, yeah. And that's when I fully became like, I don't care if he's not wearing the suit. I like that Superboy. And that was the first hour-long episode, and I was like, I gotta watch more. Yeah, but yeah, that would be my favorite team. It's got to be Young Justice. And the best part is it's always expanding and always including more characters that you never even heard of. Like, I never heard of Rocket until Young Justice. Zatanna I've heard of because of Smallville. Blue Beetle I've heard of because of Brave and the Bold. You know, just other characters like that I have never heard of. I've never heard of Bumblebee, to be honest with you. Never heard of her.
She was in Teen Titans, the show.
Oh yeah, but it was like for like an episode. So the West Coast Teen Titans West, I think is what it's called. Because I know West Coast.
I think so.
Yeah. Or Titans West or something like that. Anyway, I think it was like West Coast Titans or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out the name. I don't really care. But, you know, it just kind of evolved and I liked it, you know. But yeah. And now we come to our final question of this, and I'll wrap with this question, and I'll start with you because I want to get your opinion on this. This can be a top 5 or a top 3. I'll go top 5 on this one because we've had some things you can cherry pick out of. What have been your favorite ideas that we have come up with in the writer's room for the DCEU?
Ooh. Oh, that's tough. So I'll go backwards, I guess.
No, if you want to start from 5 and work up to 1, or chronologically, however that works, it's fine.
So I'll go. My 5 is probably a tie between the two Justice League movies.
Okay, so I will say this: if you're counting Justice League Parts 1 and 2 as one movie, that's fine. That can be on one. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. Then I think I would go with the second Flash movie that we had,
Oh man.
because I really like Wally West in that.
I like what happened after. We spent like an.
Then I would.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No. I was about to say we spent like the next like Green Arrow movie. We spent like 10 to 20 minutes making an emphasis on how badass friggin' Roy Harper was. Titans movie. Yeah, I think that's the whole team. You're forgetting somebody. Am I? Fucking Arsenal, asshole. Oh yeah.
The next one
Sorry.
is not so much a whole movie, but specifically the idea that we had of in Superman 2, Mixel Spitalik and stuff. I liked that, and then I liked that we eventually came around on Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Batmite.
Yes. You know what's funny? I tweeted that to
They
Kevin
were
Smith.
roommates.
I tweeted that to Kevin Smith. He has not gotten back to me yet.
I'm sure he's seen it and is like talking to people at DC about making it happen.
I doubt it. But I wouldn't.
Well, you got to believe something.
Yeah, I know, but it's funny though. All right, that was I think 3. What's your number 2?
That's my 3. My number 2 is the Batman. Was it Batman? What was the last Batman we did with Bane and Red Hood?
That was just Batman Red Hood.
What was the name of that one?
It was just Batman Red Hood.
Yeah, okay. So
because Hush is where we introduced Red Hood. And then Red Hood is where we cemented that.
I liked that because I liked how organically we were able to introduce everyone, get Batman's back broken, bring Talia in, and then I like where we ended it with Batman saying to Dick, "Look after my son, Batman."
Yeah, that was good. That was cool.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2, and my number 1, and it's a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit selfish, but I also think it's our best and most well fleshed out idea is our Green Arrow movie.
Oh yeah, of course.
That one we spent a lot of time on.
Yeah.
Went through several iterations of what
we did.
What we thought it was going to be. And then, but I love where we came down on that.
Yeah.
And I loved how we kept just adding to it. And I think every ad just made it better. How Roy was the one who took out Slade's eye, and I even like the place that we started, where it was just a text from you saying, "Did you ever watch that episode? You remember that episode of the Batman animated series where Batman gets amnesia?" And I was like, "Yes."
Hey, it wasn't Batman.
Is Green Arrow?
Yes. But it wasn't Batman the Animated Series. It was The Batman. That was on Kids WB.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But that was still funny. It's like,
but
you read right through that. I was like, is Green Arrow getting amnesia? Yes.
And I like how that led to, we got him getting amnesia, Aquaman's getting amnesia later, Superman's already had amnesia. It's leading to the Christmas special.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's an inside joke. Oh man.
But yeah, those are probably my 5.
Yeah, that's a good 5. That's a good 5. For me, see, I'll start from 5 and work up. Oh man, that is tough. That is tough. Oh man. I gotta reach. I gotta reach, man. Crap. Let's see. I put myself on the spot on this one. I was so into yours. Like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I wasn't even thinking about my answers. I'm like, fuck. It's like, yeah, I remember that.
We don't give a top 5. Like, what's your one moment?
Oh no. No. I can once I get the ball rolling, I'm fine. So I will say my number 5 is our Titans movie. Number 5 is our Titans movie.
The one that Arsenal's not in?
He's in it. I just kept forgetting. which is funny because I remember that conversation's like, he I remember talking to you about it too. It's like, he can't be forgetting this. He's not gonna forget. He's not gonna. He forgot again. What? It's like, you cannot. It's like, I can be this stupid. I am this stupid. Deal with it. Oh man, but yeah, that Titans was was like my favorite thing because I spent a lot of time like, okay, how do we do this? How can we organically introduce this character, this character, this character, this character, and do this, this, and this? And then we came up, and you forgot. I think you forgot my favorite. I think our favorite thing about the whole Titans movie is that it combined element, not just the fact that it combined elements of not only Teen Titans and Young Justice, but it was the fact that we brought in characters just in passing, like Cassie Sandsmark. We brought in Raven. We brought in Starfire. You know, we set up the fact that Deathstroke is arranging his own Teen Titans type team. You know, and he's starting with Red Hood, ya boy. You know, so we're laying groundwork for something we don't know what we're building to yet. And then I pitched you a couple other ideas that we're not going to talk about here, and you were like, "Dude, let's do it." I was like, "Cool," but I brought up Challenges of the Unknown. And you're like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's not go that far. Because I was thinking like JLI, we can do this, this, and this, and we can do Challenges of the Unknown. You're like, yeah, no. You know. But really kind of like bring stuff together. My number 4. Oh man. Number 4 would have to be the ones that we didn't really have to touch. We just kind of touched up. We didn't write from scratch, which I love. It's like we did Shazam. We just kind of like made a couple of notes. It was a good enough movie on its own. Pass. We're good. I love how I throw Shazam in. They're just like, just throw Shazam here. Why not? You know.
It's kind of evergreen.
Yeah, right. It was fine. A couple of things I told you I would have changed, but you know, beyond that, it was fine. It was a decent movie. Wonder Woman, we just had a couple of changes. In those things, I like because that proves that DC has good enough movies on their own. We don't need to touch them, which I love. So stuff like that, I just love, like, you know, giving it's like a mini review, but what we would have changed personally, which I'm like, that's fine, and that's what movies should be. So I'm like, that's cool. We're good. We're good with that. We're good. We're done. My number 3. Oh my gosh, number 3. I think my number 3 was the prep work we did before this, where I told you I sent you pictures of all of the pages from Man of Steel and the Man of Steel changes I would have made all the way up to, I know these aren't movie related, but I'm getting to like my number 1 and 2, which might be movie related stuff. But then everything up to the unwritten Batman Hush at that point. And that's where I stopped. You know? And I was like, dude, we can do this. We can legit do this. And I'm like, yes. But we should have chopped it up where we talked about one movie. One movie, because now we're at Burnout. That's like the one thing I regret. I'm like, dude, we gotta get back to doing this. I have no time. I'm always sleeping, you know. I got things to do. But nonetheless, I mean, I'll get back to it. And we will definitely be doing this again, but hopefully for the writer's room next time, which is fine.
Yes.
But yes, that's my number 3. My number 2 is when we first started developing the Flash sequel. I love that. And I remember that specifically because we were towards the end of one thing, and I actually clipped it out, which I'm kind of mad at. I think I might have. Actually, no, I made sure they kind of blended together so it seemed like an evolution of an idea, which is what the writer's room is supposed to be. And you're like, okay, because I had the joke to where we're going to have Impulse in this movie. I'm like, no. It's like he was just going to wave and the electricity would just shoot off of his hand and just hit Wally West in the chest. And they're like, oh crap, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. It's like, I'm fine. Okay, you're not going to die. Good. Bye. He just takes off. It's like, that whole thing happens. But then it just evolved into an actual story that we, as ourselves, like, what we can sink our teeth, what we can sink, how, a story that we can sink our teeth into. There we go. to where it's about, I think it became about the Reverse Flash kind of revealing himself like, I'm the one who killed your mother, I did this, and this, and this, and this. And he's just angry. And he just goes after whoever it is. Like, I think it was Savitar. We set up, like, the actual Savitar, not future Flash Savitar. He just ran out. He was angry. Then when he got there, he saw was an uncontrollable, scared Wally West with Speed Force abilities. He's like, oh no, and then the balance to bring them, the story had them both come back into balance to where it was Wally was getting trained by Barry to use his Speed Force abilities, and Wally trained, not really trained, but help get Barry back on the path of being not being a real hero, but being a hero. And that kind of counterbalance I loved about writing that story. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. But it's just the storytelling aspects of it I love to write, and I love to think about, especially when we have technical difficulties like we did with the first friggin' episode. Good gravy.
Oh, yeah.
Good gravy. It's like Hangout kept cutting out on us, Facebook kept cutting down on us. I'm like, dude, I gotta cut this thing into parts. I had so much editing to do, but I loved it. I just like clip, and we're good. We're done. But dude, but my number one, my number one thing here has to be almost any time I hit you with a good idea that I don't think ever saw coming, because you're like, no, I think this is good. It's like, what if we did this? And you're like, oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. It's like, well, I don't know who you had for Mixie before. I forget who you had, and you're like, I think we got this choice. I'm like, what about Wallace Shawn? You're like, oh, I like that. I like that a lot better. Or it's just like a simple story beat that could like be a plant for something else later on down the line. You're like, I like that. That makes sense. That's cool. And then even now with our recent things that can lead to like a Justice League Dark movie, which is awesome. Even then, you're like, I like these ideas. I'm like, I do too. That's why we have the writers' room.
Of course.
But yeah, just stuff like that. But yeah, that would have to be my number one. But my favorite inside joke, I think I'll end it with this, is because we never explained this, and we keep bringing it up, and we've never explained it, and I want to keep the bit going, but I think it's time for the curtain to be peeled back a bit. But it was when we did Dan Lee's. Dan, if you're listening, Dan, buddy, come on in. It's all right. That was funny. But yeah, Dan Lee's was an accident. No offense if there's anyone by the name of Dan Lee's. I meant the email I was typing in by accident. Now, I'm not going to say what the email is. I'm just going to simplify it. It's basically Dave here. I keep wanting to call you Dan, which is worse. But it's like, so we start this thing up. We're like, okay, cool. Let's start the stuff. We'll get it pumping. We'll get it going. I gave him the link for Google Hangout, which is how we record these, and it would combine with OBS to give a bigger peek behind the curtain so we can record the audio. So I'm like, okay, just go to this link and we'll be good. He can't go to the link. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll have to do it by email, which is what we usually do now, which is fine. Just skips a step, we're good. Well, little did I know that I accidentally probably typed in Dan Lee's a couple of times. It was essentially, the email was Dan Lee's at Gmail. Or Dave Lee's at at Gmail. Dan Lee's at Gmail, whatever. And I kept putting the correctly, and Lee's, I was just missing a couple of letters from the name, and I kept replacing it with one. I was like, I asked him on Facebook, I was like, what's your email again? He goes in the email, I was like, that's what I put, I think. So I was like, okay. So, but man, yeah. But Dan Lees, if your email exists or if you are listening to this, I am sorry for blowing up your email a couple of times. I fat finger the wrong letters. I apologize. But yeah, that's where we got Dan Lees from, and even in a group chat that we have, I still have him labeled as Dan. Just Dan, which is funny. He'll change it back, there's not change it back. It doesn't exist. I'm like, I change it right back to Dan. I'm like, I can do this all day. He goes, I know. So, but yeah, that was the fun part. So it's getting around 10 o'clock here, man. I didn't mean to keep you this long. Thank you for hanging with me. But before you go, tell the good people of the internet where they can find you online.
Oh, well, you can always find me over here on Facebook at Dave Lees, on Instagram at Big James Lees, or newly on Twitter on Lees Me Alone. So.
Oh, funny boy. But is that seriously your handle?
So check all. Oh yeah. Oh. I finally got on Twitter a couple weeks back. So
not
leave me alone.
Yeah. So not like I'm stalking you, but I will be following you on both of my accounts. Yeah, because I got my personal, I got my thing for this. I usually tweet with the Ryan C. Project at what's it called? Friggin' tartar sauce at Kevin Smith and such, which is always a good time because he never responds. But I can't wait to meet him one day and be like, hey, dude, here's my pitch. And he'd be like, this is awesome. I sent you a tweet about this years ago. You did? Yeah. Jerk. But I love that dude. I love him anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so he's the dude. So yeah, but again, you can find me across all social media, usually just at the Ryan Cross Project or on Twitter at the Ryan C Project. Dan, I think that'll do it for today's episode. I thank you for stopping by. Thank you for letting me take up about 2.5 hours of your time talking about comic books and all the things we love and what we give our thoughts on different things. And, it means a lot. So thank you, dude.
No problem. Always happy to talk to a friend.
Oh, we're friends? Yay!
Oh, well, don't push it.
Oh. At least I'm not like Patrick. Friend. Yes, just friends. So, yeah, working a DC reference working a SpongeBob reference into a mainly comic book podcast today. So that's what you can expect here. That's the kind of comedy and kind of content you can expect. But once again, man, thank you for coming in. We will catch you guys later on down the road. And this has been another Declassified from the Ryan Cross Files. Peace!